'Twas an afternoon in December, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, except for Bob, and Sophie, and the sugar lump. Okay, there was a lot of things stirring. The hybrid consoles were docked by the TV with care, in hopes that Antonblast soon would play there. And right out of the blue, there rose such a clatter. LukeyDukey got up to see what was the matter. I said, LukeyDukey got up to see what was the matter. Okay, LukeyDukey woke up to Alarmo to go check on the matter. The ruckus was caused by a red-skinned man, of whom which LukeyDukey was his #1 fan. This is a tale of an Antonblast review, full of unhinged madness that's sure to ensue. What the hell's going on here? Anton! In the flesh! Wait a minute, did you break my window? Oh, come on, you broke that. You're gonna be paying for that glass. Fuck out! What the heck's going on here? I just got up this morning and it's already chaotic. Oh gosh! Oh gosh! Oh jeez! How long is he in there? Oh come on! He breaks the glass and then barges in to use my toilet. Holy dang, Frey! Oh jeez! Oh my goodness! Wait a minute, what's that? Oh my gosh! Antonblast is here! Oh yes! 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 Oh man, 2.5 years has just flown right by. A lot's happened since this game originally unveiled, and it's seen a lot of reworks over time. And honestly, having the game coming out during the Christmas season, it's just very fitting. It's a great Christmas present to all the people that backed Antonblast and have been supporting it since day one. And it's also a great present to have underneath your Christmas tree for people that want to play a really good platformer. So you know what? I figured what better way to celebrate this holiday season than to do an Antonblast review. After all, what better way to celebrate the Christmas season than be playing a game where you get to blast the ever-living crap out of Satan, you know? Time to put Satan back in his place like Jesus did 2,000 years ago. So, let's take a look at Antonblast. Finally. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Wow, it's still incredible to think that Antonblast is finally here in its completed form. Ever since the game's original Kickstarter, I've been following this game's development as it's grown and evolved over time. What started off as a game that looked and played very closely to its main inspiration, Wario Land 4, which I would have been more than happy enough with, the game expanded in scope, presentation, and ambition. The end result is a game that has grown past just being a spiritual successor to the Wario Land games, now being its own beast of a platformer, taking the best aspects of the games that inspired it and adding explosive energy to it. Starting the game, you're given the choice to play as Anton or Annie to begin your adventure. Gameplay wise, both characters play exactly the same, so at the end of the day it's just a cosmetic choice. Antonblast's story begins with Satan questioning his magic mirror if he's the reddest being on/in the planet, for the mirror to reveal that the surface dweller, Anton, has Satan beat in the pigment department. As for the looks department, Anton can't compete with the goose that Satan's packing. Upon finding out this startling revelation, Satan decides to send out his minions to take Anton's most prized possessions, his bottled spirits, to lure him back to his domain to sap away his redness. Now, in order to accomplish this important, monumental task, Satan knows he must send out only his most elite of soldiers in order to get the job done. The most terrifying, horrific, intimidating moles. Satan sent moles after Anton. Yeah, I'm sure Anton would be shaking his legally distinct overalls at the sight of these. Whoa! Moles break into Anton's apartment, running off with his spirits, and Anton begins his adventure to find out who's behind the spirit napping. Immediately after, you jump straight into the first level of the game, Boiler City. First level Anton blasts his way through is his home turf, the neighborhood of Boiler City. This level acts as the tutorial for the game, showing you the ropes and demonstrating the key aspects that set Anton Blast apart from many other 2D platformers. In terms of moveset, Anton and Annie have a jump, the clutch boost swinging their weapon of choice as an attack, a slide that can be initiated with the slide button or by crouching while clutch boosting, and let's not forget the scream button. This is crucial for full enjoyment of the game. Jumping into the air and hitting the attack button will allow you to somersault in the air to break blocks, harm enemies, and to gain extra height than a typical jump. Chaining dashing jumps into a somersault will also carry your momentum while you're airborne as well. Finally, there's the atomic bomb, activated with the slide button in the air. Have an Anton or Annie dive face first at high speeds to break blocks and destroy enemies. All these movement mechanics and more are tutorialized well as you go through the level, and chaining all these attacks together will have you blitzing through levels at breakneck speeds as you get better at the game. There's even extra little mechanics like the clutch boost, which by timing attack presses in rhythm with the meter in the bottom right corner of the screen can give you an added speed boost, keeping the flow going. There's also a slingshot maneuver that's performed by timing a clutch boost right when you collide with a solid breakable block or enemies such as the hippos and Maw Busters found in the stage, shooting you forward at high speeds, and it can be continually chained together if attacks are timed properly. These movement options alone make the act of just moving Anton and Annie around a blast, and this is all accompanied by amazing level design that takes full advantage of your toolkit and brilliant art design for said levels. Everything in this game is filled with a lot of charm and characters are insanely expressive throughout, and the aesthetics of the levels are amazing. Boiler City is visually striking, with an atmosphere that really gets across that this is a polluted, crime-ridden city, but in a very appealing to the eyes fashion. Audibly, the music throughout is also amazing too, with tunes that despite the demonic tone of the game are angelic in nature. Boiler City's music is full of funky freshness that invokes a bit of Genesis twang with Wario Land's musical sound. All these culminate into a level that leaves an amazing first impression. Going through Boiler City, you'll be able to find different hidden collectibles, such as cassette tapes to listen to special audio tracks, random level themed junk, and spray cans that when obtained will grant access to unique color options for Anton and Annie you can select from. Levels will have blocks with poker card symbols and detonators that will need to be activated in order to proceed throughout. These are used to guide the players through the level quite well, and the paint left behind by these detonated crates acts as a visual cue to new areas that can be accessed. Each level has the Spirit Contained as the main collectible, and the level crescendos with Anton blasting through a building, knocking off Anton in the process. This building demolition ends with the activation of a ticking time bomb that appears at the end of each level. Upon activation, happy hour will commence, and you must rush back to the beginning of the level to escape before time runs out. The run back in Boiler City also gives a glimpse at one of the main antagonistic forces found throughout Anton Blast, the Boss Busters, consisting of more
Maul! Bloody Maul!
There are plenty of unique paths and some that require more skillful play to take, making repeat playthroughs of levels engaging. Overall, Boiler City sets the stage for what lies ahead very well, and Anton Blast only cranks up the level designs as you go further along. Upon beating Boiler City, you're taken back to Brulo's Casino, which acts as the game's hub world and base of operations for Anton. Elevator entrances for each of the levels and boss fights will appear here. From the hub, you can also change between playing as Anton or Annie, swap between the skins that you unlock throughout the game, see play records with Nina, and listen to special tracks tied to the collectible cassette tapes. There's also a mysterious door found in the hub world as well. This will play into a secret in the game I'll mention later on in the video. Brulo also manages a shop full of items that can be purchased with the collectible poker chips earned throughout the levels. These items range from cosmetics such as more spray cans, accessories like hats and glasses to add filters to the screen, to TVs to decorate the hub world with, to temporary health and happy hour timer increases, extra cassette tapes, and later on even permanent health upgrades as well. This shop does a great job to incentivize you to continue collecting as many of the chips as you can through a playthrough of a level, either for extra goodies or to overcome tough challenges found throughout Anton Blast. Honestly, the skins are the best incentive for playing and getting collectibles in the game. There's such a variety of colors, from Sonic references, to throwbacks to Mario and Luigi's color schemes from the original Super Mario Bros. The skins themed after different palettes in Nintendo's handheld gaming lineup.
There I am, Gary, there I am!
To even a Shrek and Donkey skin for Anton and Annie. Anton Blast is like an onion, it has layers. You know what? What a true statement. Anton Blast is like an onion. It has plenty of layers to it. I would like to take the opportunity to instead of just looking at what's present right at a surface level, I like to be peeling back the layers of the onion to find out the depth that lies beneath in Antonblast. Layers! So, let's jump into the second level of the game, Slow Roast Sewers.
Take a screenshot, it'll last longer.
Slow Roast Sewers is the first true non-tutorial level in the game, with a longer level length that more closely reflects how the rest of the stages will be. This level introduces the swimming mechanics in Antonblast, which feel very much in line in terms of controls to similar levels found within Crash Bandicoot Warped, with a little bit of DKC Tropical Freeze mixed in there. This level also begins the trend of each level having its own unique gimmick tied to the stage to give it its own flair, the first of which being controlling the water flow. In the level, you'll have to destroy blocks that obstruct the water flow in order to open up the way forward. This is done really well and doesn't break up the flow of the level's pacing. The second of these stage mechanics is the Sewer Shark. This acts as one of the game's parallels to the kind of transformations found within the Wario Land series. The Sewer Shark works very similar to how Rambi works in DKC's games, being able to dash through objects that can't be broken normally, and also giving the ability to scale up small trails of water. The Sewer Shark sections are full of chaotic action that gets the adrenaline going, and the shark lends a hand to give Danton another dose of ownage. The level caps off with activating Happy Hour, which sets off a massive explosion in the sewer system below Boyle City, setting it ablaze. Hey, wait a second. Anton must have been the culprit! That septic tank system couldn't handle the Anton butthole blowout! Anton's last barrel blasting must have done that sewer system in! You must then escape the sewers in a section that pays homage to similar styled levels in DKC as well, only showing the characters' silhouettes. This level is a ton of fun, and the set pieces of the stage are all well executed. Slow Roast Sewers is easily one of my favorite levels within Antonblast. It has great visuals, great level design, awesome music. It all comes together to create a perfect package of a level. Following up Slow Roast Sewers is the first of 8 bosses found within Antonblast, the Maw Buster. Maw Buster on my first attempt was a little bit unclear on how you're supposed to attack him, so here's what you need to do in case you're an idiot like me. Avoid Maw Buster's attacks, and when he begins to start showboating, don't hit him. Hit the sides of the boxing ring to slingshot yourself into him. That's how you do the damage. So if you're dumb like me and didn't notice that the side of the stage flashed during his posing, now you know what to do. Aside from taking way too long for me to figure that out, Maw Buster is a fairly easy fight. Maw Buster has some jumping attacks that can send shockwaves across the arena, which you have to avoid at times. And at the final phase of the fight, he decides to go full WWE on you and actually pulls out a freaking metal chair to whack you with. Otherwise, he's not that bad. Boys dashes, jumps, and the shockwaves that follow, and take him out with no problem at all. Before we move on, I think it's time for a present break! Yeah, I figured why not spice this video up a little bit for the holiday season and let's unwrap some hidden presents. So, let's check them out. Alright, where's that present? Where is it at? Oh, there it is! Oh. Next up on the level docket is Cinnamon Springs.
To be read or not to be read? That is the question.
Cinnamon Springs is the level where the game feels like it finally takes off the training wheels in terms of the challenge. You gotta take it easy to get the feel down for the first 2 levels, but now it's time to ride! You may skin your knees a little bit, but it'll be worth it because Cinnamon Springs is a highlight in the level selection for me. Every aspect of this level is amazing! The Crash Bandicoot styled music, the aesthetics of the level, which change for a more warm to cold temperature palette depending on where you're located in the stage, the fun to interact with set pieces and platforming challenges, it's all here! The level has these bouncy pads that ricochet you off of them and are used to scale the Cinnamon Mountains throughout. They keep the energy and speed of the level up, and so does the transformation for the level, the Tornado. By touching the specially marked pads on the floor, Anton or Annie will spin up insanely quick, allowing them to jump very far distances as well as break tornado blocks as well. The final noteworthy set piece are these geysers that you platform on that you have to uncover at times by breaking blocks and setting off detonators in the level. There's plenty of hidden platforming challenges and they have a ton of extra poker chips and collectibles throughout as well. In fact, there's one that was insanely hard to reach in the previous demos Antonblast they could only get to during Happy Hour that said no spoilers if you got to it. Well, we're at the final game now, so it's time to uncover the secrets of this area. What's meant to be there? The people need to know! Oh, that was worth it. They relocated the Kush Bandit. Oh, we better give him some love.
Whoa!
If there's anything about Cinnamon Springs that's a little disappointing, is that there isn't any sort of major set piece during the trek back to the beginning during Happy Hour, like the Maw Busters in Boiler City, or the Flaming Golf segment in Slow Road Sewers. But the level is so much fun to go through and is one of the most visually varied levels in the game despite that. One of my favorite stages in the game despite that little shortcoming.
They say the devil was handsome when he was young. I say he still is.
I'm rich and I'm dead sexy. Oh, yeah.
Now, if we're going to talk about favorite stages, Bomb Candy Mines is also up there for me. This level is visually stunning in all regards, being a mine covered in many different colored gems and stalactite. This level introduces quite a few new mechanics into the game as well, to keep going through the level fresh. First are the dice switches, which will make certain blocks appear and disappear throughout the level, making for some puzzle challenges. Next are these purple bomb candy explosives, which will smack around in order to destroy bomb candy walls, blocks, and to knock down stalactites to get across the green candy acid lava. The third gimmick is the introduction of these giant pool table balls that you'll have to push around to use as platforms to get to out of reach areas. Finally is the transformation of the level that bouncy bomb Anton and Annie. After being compacted down, Anton or Annie will constantly bounce around as you move, with the jump button send you diving down to get an explosive spring bounce, and the attack button giving you air dash to get through areas. Depending on the angle of the terrain you bounce off will determine your trajectory you'll head towards on your upward ascent. This form deactivates when you collide with cannons in the levels, or the bomb candy walls and blocks scattered throughout as well. All this is accompanied by music that feels straight out of a Sonic CD. If you were to put this track over a level like Quartz Quadrant or Stardust Speedway, it would be right at home. The capstone set piece of Bomb Candy Mines is during Happy Hour, the mines begin to flood with candy lava caused by the detonator going off. You have to complete sections of the level, clearing bomb candy walls with bombs and utilizing the level transformation while the lava constantly creeps up on you. Previously explored sections of this stage will begin to overflow with lava as well, so you can't sit still for long at any point throughout the run. Back to Brulo's Elevator. Definitely a level that I would currently place in my top 3 stages found within Antonblast. The level lives up to the name and is certainly the bomb! Upon completing the 4th level, the first major boss fight gate is open for business. Upon entering, Anton finally finds out that Satan is the one behind the spirit thieving, and is thrust into a battle at one of Satan's top servants, the Ghoul, a mafia-looking gem man who puffs cigars like it's going out of style. These boss fights take a massive amount of hits to take down. Throughout the fight, you must hammer bash Ghoul right in that perfectly chiseled jawline, avoiding his henchmen, massive gunfire, his Rayman-esque winding up punch, and his fireball minions spawned from his chain smoking. Bash Ghoul enough and the second phase will commence, where he swallows you up and you must attack him from the inside, avoiding the stomach acid and dodging the spike balls. Bash us hard enough times and Anton and Annie will deliver the coup de grace with his trusty Anton Ball firearm.
Alright everyone, this is a stick-up! Don't anybody move!
After taking that gemstone mob boss down, Anton is sure to be recognized as a hero of the citizens of Boiler City. I wonder how that interview will go.
I don't know if they wanted money or they wanted something more sexual. Wow. But it's a lucky thing I had my pieces.
Your pieces?
My guns.
Oh.
Anyway, I started blasting. Anyway, you guys all think I'm a hero, and I'll accept that responsibility.
Upon making the Jewel Ghoul go kaput, the west wing of Brulo's Casino is now available for exploration, as well as the Blast Park area in the main lobby. The Blast Park is an area specially made for showcasing the cameo backers of the original Antonblast Kickstarter. Featuring a lot of different and unique designs representing the backers of this tier, you can see a vast amount of people's avatars help make this game a reality. Reaching the end of the park, you'll also see another appearance of Danton, who's currently working on some new section of the Blast Park that will be available in a future update. Danton can't be hurt here though. Better luck next time, guys. In a future update for the game, a new boss rush mode will be accessible from the Blast Park, featuring the mini-boss tier backers' submitted designs, now fleshed out in a fully fledged boss fight that you can challenge, so be on the lookout for that in the future. West Wing, here we come! But first, it's time for another present break! Get ready to find out where this new present's hidden. Let's go! I know there's another present in here somewhere! Where could it be? I think I know now. Oh sweet! How did Sam know I want a new astronaut's helmet? Oh, I ain't falling for that again. I did that one time before and I missed out on a galactic pinball review because of it. That's right, homies! First level in the West Wing is the Big Bat.
When you quit the game to play something else, we start talking about you behind your back.
This level seems to be a massive fan favorite from what I've been able to gather, being a level that has a bit of a horror-tinged vibe to it. This level seems to be inspired by the back rooms from what I can gather, and honestly, I can't even begin to understand what the story and lore of the back rooms is. I'm very uncultured in internet horror stories. I'm going to be straight up, this level just doesn't do it for me. The idea of the level shifting around dynamically depending on your positioning is really cool, and the level itself is enjoyable, but this level is on the shorter end in terms of length, being more in line with the length of Boiler City. The transformation of the level, the water rocket power, is enjoyable to use. Some secrets are cleverly hidden, the enemies are silly like the rubber ducks that fist you. Not in an inappropriate way, of course. And freaking Langoliers? The level design is good, fun to blaze through, the level aesthetics are nice, capturing the look of a dingy bathroom. Even the spirit matches the level theme, being a bottle of soap. Make sure not to drop the soap though. The big bath isn't the only thing that's big around here. I mean, check out them ducks, their fists are huge! But that's not super exciting when I got a rundown bathroom of my own right here. Honestly, what kind of kills this level for me is that the track accompanying level is not very memorable at all. Not every level's music needs to be a banger or over the top energetic, but this track for Big Bath is just trying to be atmospheric and ends up just not being very memorable. The lackluster music lends to the level feeling very underwhelming to me. Although I absolutely love the bait and switch at the end where Brulo's elevator ends up being a fake, then having to bust out and brush through the Langolier-filled room to make it to the real exit. Otherwise, while the level is still fun, it probably ranks at the lower end of the stage totem pole for me. Boss fight that follows the Big Bath that I found very fun though. You take on the Tall Buster. This is the only fight in the game where the plane shifting mechanic used in the regular levels is incorporated into a boss fight. In order to inflict damage to Tall Buster, you'll notice these vats of lava dangling around the sides of the level. Well, you'll need to make sure that you smack these when he's positioned below them, and Tall Buster fell asleep. Took too long to explain. Well, wake up! As the fight goes on, you have to dodge oncoming enemies and explosives lobbed at you by Tall Buster until an opening arises to douse him in more magma. The fight caps off with a giant structure of punch balls being thrown at you by Tall Buster, and when it comes to a standstill, you dish it right back at him like you just played the Uno reverse card! One last hammer slam and victory secured. The next level in the docket is Concrete Jungle.
Pulling the devil by the tail does not lead you far.
Now, forgive me, this might be a little bit longer, because I got a lot I want to say about Concrete Jungle. This is a level that I know for certain has seen a lot of tweaks from what was initially planned for the stage. Back shortly after the Kickstarter ended, one of the first levels showcased for the backers was an early look of this level, at the time known as just Jungle Jam. This level is just going to be mainly a regular jungle, with vines that can be swung on, and a transformation that allowed Anton and Andy to slip through extremely tight gaps when coated in purple jam. While some elements from this early version were used, such as the art assets for specific sections of Jungle Jam, as well as the original melody appearing as a track in the room before Happy Hour, the final version level is vastly different in terms of the look and feel of the stage. New gimmicks added to Concrete Jungle, as well as the level design, make this one of my favorite stages. This level is also the introduction of the Chunky Moles.
She call me Mr. Bombastic, really fantastic.
The jam transformation has been removed, but it's still referenced in the spray paint for the level, and there's also set pieces such as sticky jam surfaces that allow for wall climbing, sticking to spinning platforms, and gelatin pads that bounce you very far off them. Vine swinging has also been changed to grabbing hold of monkeys that toss Anton or Annie in the direction you press, plus rail grinding sections have been added to the level. The rail grinding is very close in feel to how it works in Crash Bandicoot 4, but doing clutches on the rail will increase your speed as you grind. These are used well to lead to hidden secrets at the level as well. Hey, wait a minute, who's that guy? Paul? Paul's here? Wonder what that's all about. Perhaps we'll talk about this after the level's over. Finally, there are moments where you strike loose trees down, toppling them over to clear the path and form bridges to get over pits. The mechanics all play well with each other and make this level stand out as one of my favorites in the game. Happy Hour has you set off a detonator, setting what little remains of the jungle ablaze. Screw the monkeys and screw the ozone layer! Concrete Jungle is one of the strongest levels in the game, just like the concrete it's made out of. Now about that Paul that was shown earlier. You see, while my first playthrough of Antonblast, this was the only appearance of him I saw, there are actually hidden Pauls scattered throughout each level of the game, most of which are hidden rather deviously, I might add. While they don't seem to count as collectibles when selecting a level, if you do manage to find all 12 Pauls in the game, question mark door in the main lobby will finally allow you to unlock Paul as a playable character. So, keep an eye out for these Pauls throughout the game if you want the ability to play as him. See, I told you to get back to talking about that door. Now, let's talk about the next level.
Oh, hello. Are those real?
Level 7 is Pinball Meyer. This level looks like the kind of place that would be an ogre's dream home, being a very rancid cesspool.
Ooh, look at that. Who's gonna live in a place like that?
That would be my home.
The main gimmick found within the level is right in the title, Pinball! And boy do I love me some pinball! The beginning portion of the stage has you traveling along decrepit structures, attacking weird looking Anton and Annie fish, and attacking these new buck-tooth, gun-wielding
Maul.
Oh, shut up!
Mole, 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 mole.
These fellas really remind me of Nigel Thornberry. They got that look down. As you get through the surface and work your way down to the tunnels lying below, you'll be introduced to these capsule machines that when entered, throw Anton or Annie into a ball to roll around in. Almost like they're some sort of super monkeys or something. Next thing you know, they'll be gathering red dole bananas. While in the capsule, you can jump and dash like normal, but you'll build up speed depending on the slope you're on. These segments also throw you to giant pinball tables filled with bumpers, paddles, and cars that can be flipped when you go by them to open the path forward. While you have a minute amount of control in these tables like in Sonic Spinball, these pinball objects will have a major say in where you go and who will be hitching along for the ride with you. During Happy Hour, you are thrust into the biggest of the tables, and the pressure is on to flip all the cards on the table over to be able to escape the level in time. While these pinball table physics and mechanics aren't anywhere close to being one-to-one with real pinball, and they do have a bit of a learning curve, on repeat playthroughs it's become a really fun level. On my first run, this was definitely my least favorite stage up to this point, mainly due to the pinball controls, but now I've grown to really love the level. I honestly wouldn't blame anyone if this was their least favorite level in the game, given how much of a departure from the main gameplay that pinball can be at times. In the end, I found the level to be a joy, but it lands somewhere in the middle for me. Wrapping up the levels in the West Wing is the confrontation with the Freo Dragon, one of the most colorful forces in Satan's army, and the boss with the best music tied to its fight. The boss arena has you battling out on top of xylophone keys, dodging Freo Dragon's henchman, his fire breath, his background attack, and his impersonation of Thomas the Tank Engine. The first phase of the fight is fairly easy once you know the patterns, but quite fun nonetheless. Phase 2 has the platforms falling out from under you, with Anton and Annie now having to hammer somersault off the segments of Freo Dragon to avoid the flames below, as well as avoid the fireballs launched at you from above. Honestly, I found this section really hard to position myself to avoid the fireballs while bouncing all the time, but performing constant atomic bombs will chip away as his second health bar in no time flat, to the point that Freo Dragon can only shoot fireballs twice before moving on to the final phase. This phase now has you walking along the now bare segments of Freo Dragon, avoiding more fireballs as you go around to an atomic bomb that cracks in his skin, destroying the segments of his body until you make it up to his head. From there, Anton or Annie steer this Skittles looking dragon into a crash landing straight into Brazil, putting an end to their confrontation. Freo Dragon is definitely one of my favorite bosses in the game. Every aspect of the fight I love. The music, the arena, the spectacle, it's all here and handled marvelously. Now with the Freo Dragon defeated, I guess it's time to move on to the upper wing of Rulo's Casino. But before we do that, it's time for another present break! I bet you're already getting tired of these, but I made 2 more, so you're going to get more. Let's proceed. Ha-ha! Oh yeah! It's there for nothing, baby! Who the heck's knocking? Well, look who showed their face around here again. What do you want, Anton?
Hey, sorry for barging in there. We had an, emergency crash landing, and, we had just got done having some toggle ring-a-ding, and you know that kind of blasting that follows? Colin calls the shots at that point. Anyway, I was hoping, we could bum here while we wait to get a ride home.
What the hell are you bumming on my couch? You broke my window! Windows!
Look, I know a guy, a real dandy man, I can call a favor, maybe to get your glass fixed for you. Just let us crash till our ride arrives. We'll stay down here while you continue your mental episode or whatever. You might need to see a therapist about that or something.
Look, if you get someone to fix my glass, alright, you can stay on the couch. Now come in, it's getting cold out.
Nice place you got here. So where's the booze?
I got Baja Blast. Alright, well, I'm gonna go upstairs and finish working on that video, so just make yourself at home on the couch.
Okay. Record your descent into insanity.
Okay. Okay, there's one more thing I'd like to talk about before moving on to the upper floor. I'm sure by this point you may have gone back and tried replaying previous levels in the game, either to get missing collectibles or to grind poker chips for health upgrades and skins. Well, after initial playthrough of the stage, 2 new modes are accessible to replay the level in. The first of these is the time trial mode. In this mode, you will go through the level, striving to achieve the best time you possibly can. Scattered throughout the stages will be the new timer crates, replacing previous boxes in the level that, when hit, will pause the timer for the number marked on the crate. This mode plays out very similarly to the relic challenges found within the Crash Bandicoot series, but unlike Crash, levels in Antonblast are much longer. Some secrets in the levels will contain extra time stop crates, so it's occasionally worth it to explore the out-of-the-way paths to be able to get the best times. As part of the 100% completion goal in Antonblast, you'll have to go through the time trial mode on each of the game's stages, beating the levels part-time in the process. For a lot of these stages, there'll be a lot of trial, error, and repeat playthroughs in order to find the most optimal routes to keep the timer froze as much as possible and to get the part-time. Time trials can be quite a bit of fun if you like a good challenge, but it can be annoying to have a run killed by a minor slip-up, especially in the longer, later levels of the game. The second of the extra modes is the combo chain mode. In Combo Chain, you're limited to only 3 hearts for the run of the level, with no health pickups throughout. As you go through the stage, you must make sure you continue to collect poker chips, destroy breakable objects, enemies, and clutch boost with proper timing to keep your combo on the bottom left of the screen going. You can also keep it going by grabbing these combo chain markers scattered throughout the level in the moments when you can't really clutch boost or there's not many collectibles around. Failure to keep a combo going will result in you taking a heart of damage upon the meter hitting 0. 3 strikes, you'll have to restart the combo chain. Combo chain can have such a devilish difficulty to it, and it's required to get 100% as well in the game. It doesn't matter what your high score for the combo chain is though, as long as you're able to complete the level. However, there is an extra reward for those masochistic folks out there like myself. You see, if you can complete a stage in combo chain mode, without dropping a combo once throughout the level, and manage to attain all the collectibles scattered in the stage, aka the cans, tapes, etc., you can achieve the coveted cracked ranking, the ultimate bragging right in Antonblast. This cracked ranking is a medal of honor for those who have mastered all the levels in the game, and can also be given to those who go far enough to play through all the boss fights within the game without taking a hit too. This is the penultimate challenge for any 2D platforming enthusiast, and this game will kick your butt thoroughly if you try to achieve this lofty challenge, but the satisfaction overcoming the ball busting obstacles is amazing. Only a couple skins are locked behind getting the par times and combo chains completed in the game, so don't feel like you're missing out on substantial content if you're unable to complete these modes. It's meant to be a nice little extra challenge for those who want to sink more time into the game and gain more mastery over everything Antonblast has to offer. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's move on to the upper section of Brutal's Casino and the 8th level of the game, Mad Maul.
Caution, floor may be slippery when wet.
One of the main things to know is that this level confirms that Boiler City is indeed located in Florida. Glad we finally got confirmation on that one. Mad Maul to me has one of the coolest gimmicks associated with a level within Antonblast. Upon entering the main lobby of the mall, you'll come across a burglar who's trying to break into a massive safe which contains the spirit on the level. The goal is that you want to activate each of the detonators on all 4 sections of the mall before the burglar breaks the locks associated with the poker symbol. One section of the mall has gunslinging antics, the second section has you capturing these goblins to unlock the doors, the third section has you running through areas where you have to whack keys in order to unlock the gate impeding your path, and the final area has you going through a giant ball maze. And guess where they hid the Paul in this level? Of course, in the ball pit maze. Finding him in the ball pit maze is an absolute chore.
Come here! Bazinga. 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 Bazinga.
You'll have to make a mad dash through each section to reach the detonators within a time limit to prevent the security from eventually going off. There's no moment to pause. Maybe we should leave him be. The time to get in the safe is very strict, but not required to complete the level and get the spirit. The main purpose is that if you're able to unlock all the security on the safe before the burglar breaks through, you'll get a fast pass to the end of the level during happy hour by taking a shortcut through Scrooge McDuck's mall vault, get the spirit early, and have a shorter ride out of the building on the mall cop Segway. Failing to prevent the locks from being broken just keeps the safe treasure from being collected, and the run back is longer during happy hour so that Anton and Annie can run through and steal back the spirit from the apprehended burglar. There's some secrets that can help you get through some of these sections a lot faster. In the main lobby of the mall, there's a hidden vehicle that you can hitch a ride on in order to get through the bottom right section of the area much quicker.
Back with that Buckaroo!
Overall, this is a very enjoyable level. However, getting all the collectibles and getting the detonators in time is dang near impossible on a single run. So I recommend making a specific run through the level just to get the collectibles and one for the completion time and getting into the safe. Mad Maul is followed up by the confrontation with the mad genius of the boss busters, the Small Buster. You know what they say, big things come in small packages, and that's certainly true with Small Buster. Throughout the fight, you have to contend with all kinds of machinery assembled by this mechanical mole, from rockets, to mecha fists, to literally tossing minions at Anton and Annie to assault them with. This seems to be a pattern with these guys, they don't have any regard for their minions. While this fight is very fun the first few times, it does suffer on repeat playthroughs. having a very set in stone pattern that's predictable, and then there being very long waiting periods of downtime between moments where you can attack Maw Buster. There's a lot of charm and personality to the animations and unique contraptions that Maw Buster creates, but that alone can't save the fight from dragging on a little bit. Still a good fight, just very time consuming. Next up on the list is Crimson Factory.
I heard they're making Anton Twinsanity.
Well, it's certainly Crimson alright. Satan should just steal the red pigment from this facility instead of going through the trouble of luring Anton out. This level has music that encapsulates the twang of the Sega Genesis, as well as the grungy visuals commonly found in the system's library. This level has you platforming across different conveyor belts scattered throughout, and the main gimmick of the level is very enjoyable too. Going through the level are segments where Anton and Annie will strap on a jetpack and go on a little auto-running joyride, weaving through explosives, level set pieces, harassing Anton, and avoiding small enemy attacks. This whole level is a fun time throughout, and the spectacle during Happy Hour is spectacular. In the later portion of the level, a silhouette of a giant Satan robot can be seen in the background, and once Happy Hour commences, the robot springs to life and begins to chase after you. You'll be blasting out of the factory like a Jimmy Neutron, dodging laser attacks from the Satan bot, avoiding the fire and flames on the trek back.
3, 2, 1.
Gotta blast! Blah, 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 blah.
The only issue I really have with Crimson Factory is that the level can get kind of basic as you play through it multiple times. Compared to some of the other levels with more complex platforming, this level is fairly flat and basic in terms of the playthrough. Still a very fun level nonetheless. Following up the spectacle that was Crimson Factory is the stage show bout against Maw Buster. This fight features its own unique mechanic to it. Instead of having a health bar, you have a crowd meter. Depending on how well you perform, aka avoid oncoming attacks and bullet hell speech boxes, your performance will be ranked better and Maw Buster will be booed, having tomatoes chucked at him. Attacks during this fight include text boxes that Maw Buster launches at you as projectiles, enemies coming out from behind the curtains, including some that do their own acts during the show, and bats that drop objects on your head to stun you so that you get hit by Maw Buster's oncoming attacks. The goal is to continually show up Maw Buster during his play until his anger meter fills up on the side of the screen, which you'll then toss a giant tomato towards you. Then you must continually volley back at him to finish him off. It'll take a lot of practice to catch up with Anton and Annie's performance there, Maw Buster. Sorry, a little bit too cringe. Overall, Maw Buster is a great fight, but quite the challenge to avoid getting hit on. Probably going to be the hardest boss if you're striving to get the craft ranking in this game. The last level of this section is Mysterious Glass House.
I can't be your angel, but I can be your devil.
Despite being a house made of glass, this is an extremely solidly built level. The tracks for this stage are all absolute bangers as well, setting a great atmosphere. Mysterious Glass House has a couple of standout gimmicks throughout the run as well. First are these water nozzles, and you must find the knobs and bring back to water the plants, growing platforms to progress. Second are these plant platforms that will attempt to eat you if you stand still for too long on them. Third is the transformation of the level, where these red clouds found throughout can strike you with lightning, and their souls lifted up in the air by many devils. You must then avoid obstacles and hazards as you ascend until you collide with the ceiling and return back to normal. Finally, in the latter half of the level, there are metal-jawed fish that will pursue Anton or Annie, and you have to lure it around to break certain obstructions preventing your progress forward. I really like going through this level, but there's one section that's a little annoying for some, where you have to rail grind and platform over a patch of fog, and falling would take you back to an earlier point in the section. Aside from that section and the annoyance of reaching where the level's hidden paw is, this is a really well done level. I'm sure by this point you noticed that even if the level is on the weaker end, I still end up finding it to be rather enjoyable. Let that be a testament to how good the levels and gameplay of this game are, that even the lesser stages are a blast to play through. Final stop in the upper floor is the fight against Ring-a-Ding, which is a giant bell. For the first phase of the fight, you're just bashing a bell repeatedly while knocking his kin into him as well. There's also the occasional gold bell that will show up and spawn and shoot lasers at you that you must dodge. Honestly, a fairly basic phase to start off with, but what follows is what makes this battle way more interesting. After getting struck down by lightning, you enter your spirit form and are carried high up in the sky in a segment that feels straight out of a bullet hell, dodging and weaving through enemy fire, meteors, dealing with wind turbulence, and floating through speed boost rings in pursuit of Ring-a-Ding. Once you catch up and deal a blow to him, you then begin the high energy atomic bomb descent back down to the surface, dodging the same obstacles at a much more breakneck speed. Finally, upon landing, Ring-a-Ding shows up with his final phase, in a form that looks like the most demonic thing in the game thus far. That or some sort of Kirby final boss. I don't know which would frighten me more. From here on, the fight gets much more serious, having more bells come at you to shoot lasers at you at the same time, and plenty of smaller bells to launch themselves at you. For this phase, you must knock the bells down and smack them back to Ring-a-Ding. Fight climaxes with Ring-a-Ding sending the moon hurling towards Anton or Annie, only then for show off their incredible gains and send it right back at him, capping off the fight.
I'm on the moon! How do you like that, Obama?
I know you didn't do it for me.
Now that everything's taken care of in the upper section, it's time to go down to hell and take down Satan himself in a final confrontation. But before we do that, I think you know what time it is. It's time for another present break! Yay! Hooray! Last one, I swear. I'm done with these. I only got this one and then it's just kaput. It's all over. So just bear with me here.
Dang, they got a nice camera angle on me.
Now on to the first level in hell, Deviled Gardens.
Oh, how I hate dealing with squatters.
Deviled Gardens lives up to the name bestowed upon it, having a very devilish difficulty tied to it. The first enemy you come across has a trident nose to pierce you with, so you know things are getting real from here on out. The level has some pretty decent music and visuals associated with it as well, and the main gimmick of Deviled Gardens is great. In the level, you'll meet up with someone preparing a party for Satan, and he agrees to give up his spirit he found as long as Anton and Annie set out to complete the task he sets before you. First section has you going through and draining water in parts of the stage, and then filling it back up with the faucet. Next, you have to track down a boombox and destroy it, and finally, you have to destroy the main clock tower in hell after manipulating the clock hands to access certain sections of the level, and unlock the detonator switch to blow up the said clock. The level then caps off with you being dropped on the detonator, and during happy hour having to navigate out of a hellish hedge maze, finding dice switches to activate and make it out. Then the big transformation of the level is gifted to you to run back to Brilla's elevator, a robotic mech suit capable of shooting chainsaw blades. So not only will you be trimming down Satan's forces, but his hedges too!
Oh, that's the D-Pelter Turbo. Prepare for a lot of stinging.
This moment is full of mindless fun, just plowing through anything and everything that stands in your way. But this comes back to bite you if you try to get the spray can level, which requires you to show some restraint in your firepower. Easier said than done though. Overall, the spectacle of the level is great and there are some fun moments, but this level will bust your Anton balls on the first playthrough with the difficulty, and then on subsequent playthroughs being forced to wait and listen to the rhyming dialogue on each run slows the pace of the level down a little bit. Probably one of the weaker stages if I had to rank it, but there's still a lot to enjoy about it.
There There, don't smile because it happened. Cry because it's over!
Finally, the infiltration of Satan's home begins in the level of Hell Manor. This level certainly is hell in the difficulty department, and certainly lacks in the manners department as well. Immediately from the jump, Happy Hour commences and it's a mad dash to get through the level, with you only having 8 minutes to complete it and there being very few checkpoints to speak of throughout. This level takes every single transformation and set piece throughout the whole game and incorporates them into a level that feels like the ultimate culmination of everything you've learned and all the skills you've honed throughout the game. Transformations such as the tornado, the jetpack, the bouncy bomb, and the pinball all make appearances throughout, plus some every level set pieces such as the 8 balls, water geysers, plant platforms, the rings of fire, etc. have a time to shine in the level. While you have little moments to stop, thankfully the collectibles aren't hidden too much. Instead, they throw them into optional rooms that take up more time during happy hour, and are obstacle gauntlets you have little to no room for failure to get the item that lies at the end in. Once you get to the end of the level, they pull one more bait and switch, bringing the fake elevator back from Big Bath for one last screw you, and then capping the level off with a jetpack section, avoiding fire from the Maw Buster's blimp in the final stretch for the real exit of the stage. This level is brutal to get through for many on the first playthrough, and maybe for the few people even on the subsequent runs. I wouldn't blame anyone for calling this the worst level in the game due to that difficulty, but honestly, I kinda dig the level here. It's so challenging, but it's so satisfying when you know the level inside and out and are able to blaze through it. There's such a rush going through the level with a constantly ticking clock. It perfectly captures the feel of going through the golden patches in Wario Land 4, but with an even higher challenge to it. Honestly, for me, I'd put it over levels like the Big Bath and Devil Gardens any day. I think it just suffers in terms of the complexity of the platforming, mainly just be running in straight lines and being more down to well-timed jumps with dashes and slingshot jumps over gaps. Because of that, the level doesn't rank as one of my favorites in the game, but still have quite a good time going through it. Now, before we get to the climax, I think I better check up on Anton and Annie, see how they're doing. It's been a little while. Make sure they're alright. What the hell, was he drinking like rubbing alcohol? It's 91% isopropyl alcohol. What the hell is this guy's liver made out of? Here we go, the final confrontation. Upon entering the Devil's Chamber, Satan takes all the spirits that Anton gathered throughout the whole quest and uses them to amplify his strength to defeat Anton and sap the red right out of him. Seems like all the power that Satan gained went straight to his glutes though, since that's his main form of attack throughout the fight. Fear the cheeks! Throughout the fight, you'll dodge Satan's booty-clapping maneuvers, waiting for an opportunity for his magenta glow to disappear, and pound his gluteus maximus like there's no tomorrow. When he slowly descends from the air, it's a good time to get some hits on him, and when he pulls out the Pippo enemy, be prepared to hammer a somersault over him and go to town on him while he's stuck in the wall as a result of the satanic clutch boost. One more trick to avoid him I recommend is sliding under his legs as he paces back and forth during the fight if you have difficulty jumping over him in those moments. This fight is understandably challenging, and learning how to avoid all of Satan's attacks can be tricky, especially his high velocity booty ground pound when his health bar is lowered. With time and patience though, you'll be able to overcome him. Upon his clobbering, Satan begins to retreat, with Anton going in hot pursuit. Here you play a smaller platforming segment to back Satan into a corner, only for him to have enough, transforming into an arachnid demon. Now the shoe's on the other foot, and you must run like hell to get away from Satan's pursuit.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
This proves fruitless, however, and Satan finally achieves his goal, catching up to Anton to sap the redness out of him. With his newfound redness, Satan is now in peak physical condition, and disposes of what remains of our poor protagonist. Then, with the power of alcoholism, all the spirits return to Anton, restoring him and powering him up in a fashion reminiscent of going supersonic. Anton becomes Devil Anton, returning to finish Satan off for good. After disposing what's left of Satan's elite minions, the true climactic battle between booze and evil begins. What follows is a conflict of epic proportions, with Devil Anton tearing through the hands of Satan, sending boulders hurling towards him, avoiding bullet-hell demonic lasers and scissor swipes, bouncing back satanic minions as well to whittle away at his massive health pool. Thankfully, in your Devil Anton form, you also have a fairly massive health bar of your own to take a few hits as you learn his patterns. Lower his health meter enough, and Satan will begin to stomp on you, knock his legs out from underneath him, and now the booty pounding begins again. This eventually leads to Satan taking hold of Anton, and you'll wail on every corner of his beautiful red face, breaking his nose, giving him black eyes, and slamming his crown into his face, ending with a scene where Anton knocks him back with his supersized hammer and pursues him to unleash a relentless, merciless onslaught on the bumbling demon lord. And with that, Anton has proven victorious, exacting his revenge on Satan, handing him his second defeat in the past 2,000 years. With his redness, castle, and mirror all be taken away from him, in a last-ditch effort, Satan sets off an explosive in hell, launching Anton and Annie out and back into the surface.
What? Ow. Yeah. Well, bye. Yes! I finally fixed everything! Wow, this is great! Everything's back to normal. Ain't you glad, Annie?
Yeah.
And that was Antonblast. Was that video long enough for you guys? Sorry this was a bit of a doozy, but my goodness, this is one of my most anticipated games of the year and one of the most anticipated games in the last few years for me. So, I had a lot to talk about. Back when I first played the demo for this game when it was being kickstarted, I never would have guessed that the game would evolve and grow to the point where it's at now. Honestly, after playing this game, if Nintendo ever decided to make a new Wario Land game, they'd be fighting an uphill battle to try to surpass the games like Pizza Tower and especially Antonblast for me. It would be really tough to find a good reason to justify it when Antonblast is here and is just taking everything that Wario Land ever did, undone it like 100 times better in my opinion. If you're looking for a top tier platformer, I implore you, check out Antonblast. Try the game out. This game will hold a special place in my heart. As I mentioned before, a lot of things have happened in my life since this game was originally kickstarted, and a lot of things for the better and a lot of things for the worse. Since originally backing Antonblast, my mother passed away. She was the one who got me into a lot of these kind of games like Sonic, Wario, Mario. She was the one who picked up Wario Land 4 for me for my Game Boy Advance when I was a kid, and I fell in love with that game. That game and a lot of other games like Sonic and Crash Bandicoot, they made me fall in love with 2D platformers and 3D platformers. These games are staples of my childhood, and honestly, if it wasn't for her, and it wasn't for her getting me games like Wario Land 4, I can pretty much guarantee I probably would not have backed or even gave Antonblast the time of day. So in order to honor her, I had my name changed in the credits for Antonblast to reflect not only my YouTube channel name, but also include my mom's name in memory of her, so that her legacy can sort of live on within the Antonblast game. So if anyone from Summit Sphere watches this video, I thank you so much for actually going through and changing my name in the backer credits. I really appreciate that, and it means a lot to me. Sorry if that got a little bit sad and emotional in any way, shape, or form, but, you know, but hopefully you have a jolly Christmas, have a wonderful time with your family, enjoy the holiday season, and hopefully you get a good opportunity to play a bit more Antonblast during this season. What the hell's that?
Ah, boy!
Is that Anton and Annie? Wait, is strapping Kevin to a freaking sleigh? What the hell's going on? Wait up!
Merry Blastmas to all, and to all a good dynamite!
Merry Blastmas, Anton. Merry Blastmas. Really? I knew I could trust Anton.